So, switching gears here, something really, really serious. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so my heart and mind, uh, thoughts are with the family of old schoolmate of mine, uh,
Yeah.
Miss Roseanne. Many people call her Rosie. Uh, Known her since grade school. Known her for a long time. She was a very intelligent young lady. Of course, we about the same age. Very intelligent, nice. She was a great mother. Held the kids down and stuff. Definitely. I mean, she was awesome. She was an awesome makeup artist. She could do the hell out of some makeup. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
her own like little sweets. She was making cupcakes and different delectables and desserts and stuff like that. Uh, her son played basketball on one of my people's teams that he coached little league basketball. So my boy Drake was real torn up about that because he look at all the kids on his basketball team like they his own sons. And so basically,
Yeah.
she got married to a man. His name's Bobby McCauley. Um, Now we wasn't really friends. We never hung out. Like I can't think of if we ever hung out. Like I don't think we ever hung out. But we was cool. We never had no beef. We never had no static. We've just
Yeah.
never rode in the same circles. We
Close.
were just basically schoolmates,
Super
high
close.
school
Yeah.
friends. Huh? Which
Y'all was just super close. Yeah, like y'all weren't super close.
right. We
It was more
never hung
like a
out.
casual thing.
I honestly had a crush on her for the longest. Like, man, all throughout school, she was a fine light skinned assistant, and she still is. May she rest in peace. But unbeknownst to me and a lot of other people, she was
Mm-hmm.
with domestic violence with her husband, now deceased, for a couple of years now. I think the news media said it was 5 years. Like I say, we're not close, so I was not abreast of the situation until she started posting it on Facebook. Basically, trying to get the word out. Hey, this is what's going on. This man he's an abuser. This, that, and the third. I've gotten a restraining order. I did all I'm supposed to do. Right. So that's basically when I found out. Because again, we're not close. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, she's been dealing with this man for. I think they was married for about 5 years. They might have been together longer than that. She had a older daughter, a son, and then she had a younger daughter. Well, again, I don't know the situation. I'm on the outside end, so I'm trying to tread very carefully when I say this, because I mean it ain't no disrespect to nobody. Um, when she went to the police, she got a restraining order. She did everything that she was supposed to do by law, by the book, by what society says that what you're supposed to do. Again, society tells you that street justice is justice. That you're supposed to go to the cops and let the cops handle it. And here's the thing: she got a restraining order on him, and dude kept coming around, trying to get in, trying to spend the night, trying to do this, trying to do that. And it's kind of like the police never enforced this restraining order, even though by law you're supposed to enforce the restraining order. This nigga's supposed to be 500 feet or 1,000 feet or whatever it is from your person at all times. Police didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
The situation finally escalated to the point to where he busted in the door, uh, murdered her, murdered her oldest daughter, and murdered her son,
Yeah, her 13-year-old son. That's sad.
who was on my homeboy Dreek's basketball team. I found out through him because he was posting something on Facebook, and I had to hit dude. I was like, hold up, like what happened? Oh man, this, that, and the third. Woo, woo. You know, and they got into it, and the dude bust in and man killed her son, her oldest daughter. Then left, took his daughter, which is her youngest daughter, took their daughter together, I think to his sister house or his mother house, and they sitting there trying to cover for the dude. And then when the police end up closing in on him, he ended up turning the gun on himself and he committed suicide.
Yeah, the baby lived because she had 3 kids, and he
Yes,
abducted the baby and he killed himself in the car while the baby was in the car. But he didn't
right.
kill the baby. Baby's
Which
fine.
which is his child.
Mm-hmm.
He killed the other 2 kids, but he didn't kill his child. Um, so the question I ask is, what do you do when all else fails? Can you seek justice outside of the law? And if we can seek justice outside of the law, what does that look like?
Now, let's not forget his mother was a warrant was issued for his mom,
Right.
who's for hindering prosecution of felony. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, so what? So we're just gonna start with the first question. What do you do when all else fails? Like
Oof.
you tried to do it the right way. And by right, I mean in the white.
You
You
try to handle it the white way.
not like white as in white person,
Right.
but
Well,
white as in like
the
it's
system.
clean, it's pure. White is
Yeah.
the law. Black
And the
is
system.
below the law. Gray is that happy medium between legal and illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So your live supposed to be. She done did everything she's supposed to do. She filed the paperwork, got a restraining order, like didn't let dude in the house, kept saying no, kept petitioning the police, doing what she was supposed to do, and in the end, the police failed her. And I'm not even gonna say it's a racist thing because I don't know, but I don't really care because your job as an officer is to uphold the law, regardless.
Allegedly.
Right. Regardless, well, no, that's your mandate. Your mandate is to uphold the law. What you do
Mm-hmm.
get in there is two different things than what the mandate is. But here you are. You have a woman who has incredible threat, has taken
Yep.
necessary steps to, to take care of the situation legally. And in the end, because the police department failed to protect her, her and 2 out of 3 of her children are deceased.
Yep.
And now her youngest daughter, who was a baby,
Mm-hmm.
I think the little girl's like,
Without a mother, a father, and siblings. I
I
think the
think
little
the,
girl like
I think she's
3
like
months.
no, she's older than 3 months. She's like a year and a half, somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically still a baby. You still young, and I mean, like so. What do you do when all else fails, Rebecca? Can you seek justice outside the law?
I think you should. I had this conversation with um a few people, and some people just say, "Oh well, she did everything she was supposed to do, and at the end of the day, the little girl's 1 year old. At the end of the day, it didn't work." I feel 2 ways about this. One, 100% is I think it was one of those things where I'm sure she thought to herself, like, if I kill this nigga, how am I going to explain to my kids that I killed their dad? and I'm probably going to go to jail if I kill this nigga. So let me do this by the book, right? By the book. Um, I do think that St. Louis Police Department failed her 100%. And I'm not saying that suing them um, is justifiable in the sense of like bringing her life back, because that's not possible. However, I do feel like they should be held accountable for that. But at the end of the day, we talking about a system that don't give a fuck about Black people anyway. And I'm not going to say it's about race. However, in my experience with police and seeing domestic violence situations on both spectrums, white people are taken a little bit more seriously than African Americans. It's just from what I've seen. I have a mother who was in consistent domestic violence cases, situations. I also have one of my sisters who was also in domestic, two actually, I lied, two that was in domestic violence situations and have called the police are slow to come over. And even if they do like submit restraining orders and all that, and these people break the restraining order, there's really no repercussions for them except for they running everybody's name at the house to try to see who they can take to jail. And when that doesn't work, the guy isn't even arrested for breaking the restraining order. He's just like, oh, well, you just need to go home. And the police literally, if they don't have a ride, will take them home. Like, I've seen that. On the other hand, when I've seen domestic violence situations with Caucasian women, like when I tell you police are there in minutes, the situation is when I tell you everybody is a suspect until she points out who it was. And even after she points out who it was, it's everybody is still on high alert, like anybody can go to jail at any time type of thing. And that person is then arrested. Like there's no questions asked, you shouldn't have been here, who out this and that. So I can say it because I physically have been there to witness it. I've also seen domestic violence situations, and this isn't in this sister's case because there is no excuse for loss of life, especially of herself and her kids. Nigga, if you felt like that, you should have just fucking killed yourself. At least you would just have one parent grieving over their piece of shit son. And that's just how I feel about that. And I'm not gonna go there because I don't know the mother's position in it. Even though they issued her a warrant, I don't know if she was the type of mother who took up for the son. Oh, don't take him to jail. He just got a few problems. It's going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if she was that type of parent. If she is, she wasn't shit for that. But that's neither here nor there because I can't verify that. I've seen domestic violence situations in which these men will be trying to get away from the women and the women is steady picking at them. And then the man just can't take it no more because they trying to get out the house. The woman won't let them leave. And you have some people say, well, how can a woman make you stay in the house? And it's like, this bitch is blocking the door. You trying not to put your hands on her because you're trying to avoid her calling the police. But then she's steady two-piecing you and it's only so many hits you gonna take kind of thing. I've seen that. I've seen situations where a woman didn't do nothing and this dude beat their ass. And then the family come over, get the dude out the house because calling the police ain't work. They get the dude out the house, they beat his ass, and the woman let him come back. In this sister's case, this was not it. She did everything that the law tells you that you're supposed to do. And they ain't shit for that because there's no excuse that you failed her, you failed them children, you failed their families, and essentially you failed the suspect's family as well. Because not only did this nigga kill himself, he killed 3 other people and that affects people that you don't even fucking see. That not only affects the family, but that affects fucking. I can't imagine being this girl's mama. You just lost your daughter and two grandkids, and you gotta raise another one. I can't imagine being her mother. I understand the siblings are gonna be hurt, cousins, friends
Yeah.
at school, whatever. But I can't imagine being this girl's mama. And then not only that, but they failed the suspect's family in a sense because it's not their fault that the dude killed himself. But if they would have did what they were supposed to do, possibly this man wouldn't have been in jail to not kill himself, in my opinion. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. So, can you seek justice outside the law? Of course. You know
You
what?
should.
What do you do when all else fails? Take justice into your own hands. I'm sorry, people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. There's a reason why uh, the criminal underworld has always existed. Even in the black community, the criminal underworld helped build and fund a lot of our institutions. Some American institutions at that, like the lottery, the numbers runners were street cats. You know, the niggas who protected the neighborhood, the Black Panthers, a lot of them were street cats. You see what I'm saying? So you, at a certain point, yeah, I think you should try to do things by the book for paperwork cases. You know what I'm saying? For paperwork, just so you can have a trail that says, "Hey, I did this. I got a restraining order. I did this. I did that. I took necessary steps. I have my CCW or Missouri. You don't need a CCW, but you know somebody broke into your house or whatever it is, and you had to use necessary force, and you had to take that person out of there because things like this should have been avoided. There's no way that the police department should have let this get that far. Like, I wish somebody would have gotten at dude the first time he laid hands on him. I wish somebody would have got at him the first time because, especially in the black community, like Rebecca had already said, like you know they don't really view us the same as they do whites. So their effort is going to be very lackluster most times when it comes to dealing with us. But I don't know if anybody ever seen The Godfather. If you look at The Godfather, Godfather 1, there's a scene on the day of Marlon Brando's daughter's wedding. You know, this the day of my daughter's wedding. So in walks this Undertaker. Anybody seen the movie? You know, you follow me. You know what I'm talking about. So in walks Undertaker. And I forget exactly what his problem is. I think some guys were selling oops insurance or something like this here. And he tried to get protection by the law. And the law did not work. So then he came to Marlon Brando, who is the Godfather. And the Godfather tells him, he said, I understand, you know, you try to be a good American. I understand you want to do things by the law, that, you know, you're just getting to this country. You know, you don't want to make any waves, essentially. He said, but I am your godfather and you have neglected me. You know, only now that you have problems do you come to me when you had should have came to me sooner and the problem wouldn't have gotten this far. And so dude's like, well, this is the day of my daughter's wedding. I can't refuse a favor, but there's going to come a time when I'm going to be able to utilize all your goods and services for myself, which he later leveraged to clean up Santino, which was his older son, who ended up getting killed for whooping his sister's husband's ass all out in the middle of the street. I'm talking about whooped his ass, hit him with a trash can and some more shit, and dude ended up setting him up, and he ended up getting killed later on, which could have been avoided if Santino wasn't such a hothead, but that's beside the point. So it's kind of a slippery slope, but at the same time, like justice comes in many forms. Police have justice. There's street justice. You still muted, Rebecca. There's street justice. Karma is a form of justice because karma is real. Sometimes it's swift. Sometimes karma is very slow, but
Yeah.
eventually karma will catch up to you. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Me personally, just me, I don't tune up a lot of niggas who I really should have. Niggas who
Mm.
money, niggas who did this, that, and the third. We ain't gonna go into detail, but it's a couple of niggas I could think of
Yeah, baby.
fucked up. Tuned their ass up. Not necessarily murder them, throw their body off in the Mississippi River. But definitely
No, they just need a little fine tuning, just a little,
just a little fine tuning,
tuning.
but I don't want that type of karma to come back on me because I don't want that type
Yeah.
of juju to come back on me. But exigent circumstances,
Yeah.
I believe, even as a Christian, as a Muslim, whatever the fuck it is that you believe in or you don't believe in, I believe that regardless of what man's law says,
Mm-hmm.
nature, the laws of the universe will back your play.
They'll prevail. Yeah.
The universe will punish you for doing what you have to do.
Mm.
Yeah. My boy Rob called me up. He called me up, said, "Hey Dave, I'm looking for something without no serial numbers, if you catch my drift."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, no, Rob, I don't get down like that. I'm a security guard. All of the weapons that I own are registered in my name, so if something happens,
Yeah.
justified and where I have to shoot, ain't no way anybody can ever get me caught up because everything's in my name." He's like, "Well, the reason why I'm calling is my goddaughter got molested or something, or tried to get molested by this dude who's about as old as him and her daddy, who's supposed to be a family friend.
Ooh.
And I'm not exactly sure if the girl got molested or he tried to, or
he tried to do it. Yeah.
said something sexually explicit to the girl, but they tuned him up, beat him up. He said the nigga, no, first they talked to him. He said, "Dave, we talked to the man. Hey, this don't do this, that, and the third. The next time you do it, just know there's gonna be consequences."
Yeah.
Again. And so they beat his ass. They tuned dude up pretty good. I'm talking about beat dog shit out of him.
And they should have.
Then the nigga did it again. So he like at this point, Dave, he like, "Man, this is my goddaughter. I love her like she my own child." He said, "What am I supposed to do?" And I said, "Well, Rob, I can't tell you what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to do. But I will tell you like this. There are certain cultures in Africa who will find a child molester. If they catch you molesting a child, they will cut your dick off, put a tie on you, and set you on fire."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what specific African cultures do that, but I do know, and I have read quite a few stories, that is how certain African cultures deal with pedophiles. Some deal with thieves, like they'll cut the hand off. Like I know there was one story I was reading. This African dude was dealing with his neighbor who was a thief, and he caught him, and he cut the nigga hand off and turned it into an ashtray. He didn't
Cold-blooded.
He didn't kill the dude, but he chopped his hand off, and every time he see his neighbor and that neighbor see that ashtray, he gonna think twice about stealing from somebody. Bet you that nigga didn't steal no more. So I think there are certain circumstances, situations in which you are justified killing someone.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I wish somebody would have got it due. Now, I didn't know him. This other gal who I'm friends with was friends with him, and I don't know his situation. I don't know if nigga had mental illness or whatever the case. That's not really an excuse, but I don't know the nigga's medical history or this, that, and the third. I'm just gonna say, if somebody got with dude the first time, the second time, the third time, however many times it happened, before
Yeah.
it escalated to him breaking into the house and committed a triple homicide.
Yeah.
Before then, her and her two children would still be alive. To me, it makes no sense for her not to be alive. And I was devastated. Like I was like, damn, I was like straight devastated. And like I say, I don't know her, but I've known her for some years. I follow you on Facebook. I see your kids and they growing, and your son playing basketball, and your baby girl starting to walk and do this, and your older girl. Like, we cool. I comment on your status and stuff. Everybody know you got Facebook friends and stuff from people
Mm.
in high school with that you cool with, but y'all didn't necessarily kick it. So I've been knowing her for a long time. I've been knowing her since grade school. Just the fact that I know somebody, even if it's somebody that you ain't even seen in years. Oh damn, so and so good. Damn, no, cuz not that nigga. I went to school with that.
Yeah.
I went to, you heard somebody. Damn, I went to school with that nigga. That nigga, tell me that nigga not. Oh, come on, bro. I knew that. I had science class with that nigga. I can't believe such and such. Whoop, 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 this, that, and third happened. So
Like this story shouldn't even be a thing.
it shouldn't have been a thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if somebody gets offended. Uh, I don't know how his family feels about it, but I wish somebody would have gotten that dude a long ago. And I don't even think she's that type of woman to keep that company. I don't think that her family has street ties. Uh,
Mm.
now, I mean, I wish somebody would have gotten that his ass. Now, granted, on the flip side, like you were saying, there are plenty of women who do go back to that domestic violence situation. And I think you should just take each individual situation and look over it critically to find out what you're going to do. Now, granted, even if I had sisters, because like I wanted my boy to come on, because he was basically saying like his two sisters like abusing ass niggas, and they keep going back to him. He like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, he like, because they keep going back to the dudes. I understand that, but it's kind of like a Raymond Agent King situation where you see impending danger coming your way, and you want to do everything in your power to prevent this impending danger to reach this person that you care about. But this person that you care about doesn't see the impending danger, nor does
Mm-hmm.
or he care about it, and continues to do bullshit like ain't nothing ever happened. It's kind of one of them situations. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But for me, just for me, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I would rather go handle this nigga, whether it be myself, whether it be me and a couple of partners of mine. I would rather go handle this nigga and you be mad at me and alive than him killing you and being dead. I'm just saying. That's just me. That's just me. So what does justice look like? I think justice looks like some shit where you didn't have no other choice but to get down like that. I'm not saying that, the first time somebody lay your hands on your sister, something like that, you go murk a nigga. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you feel like you have taken all the necessary steps to handle this situation above the law, as it were, above the law, then if you got to do what you got to do, you got to go get that 38 snub from that pawn shop or whatever it is. Hey, nigga, you just got to do what you got to do. Cause now here, cause we're poor, so whatever gonna happen, we got to do it ourselves. Now on the flip side, let's flip this whole equation around. Talking about living in the moral gray area, you know who lives more in the black than anybody? Rich people. Rich people do a lot of rich people be living more so in the black than they do the white. If they need to off somebody, all they got to do is get their account to wire $10,000, $20,000 to this offshore account in the Caymans or somewhere, so you can hire this hitman, so you can go kill somebody who you don't like, whether it be your business partner, somebody in your family or whatever it is. Somebody rich can just pay somebody to do their dirty work for them. Just pay somebody. Hey, here go the money. Like the ACDC song, "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap." Pick up the phone. I'm always home. Call me anytime. Because rich people got the type of paper. So again, on the flip side, they can pay somebody to do their shit for them. They ain't got to do it. Now, granted, they ass liable to take you on a hunting expedition, and only 3 out of 4 of y'all return from this hunting expedition. They will do that too. They'll fall into a false sense of security, like everything
Yeah.
good, and then next thing you know, Dick Cheney hollering about some duck, and you turn around and get shot in the face. They will do that too.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
I wish that situation could have gone differently, because man, a lot of people was devastated, because again, all the people that I went to school with pretty much knew her. A lot of people were saying, a lot of people I didn't go to school with knew her. And a lot of people were just devastated by this whole event. And I'm not even gonna go into mental illness and none of that, because I don't know what the man's history was. But nigga, if you had mental illness, you should have got help.
Yeah.
It could just be one of the things where you just can't handle rejection. It's a lot of soft dudes out here who can't handle rejection. I seen this one
Mm.
video of this dude was talking to this gal. She was like, "No, I'm good. I got it, man." And he kept going like, "Yeah, girl, you want to see this long dick?" And she was looking like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And it's them type of niggas too you gotta watch out for, because a lot of those niggas who can't take no for an answer, who keep wanting to follow you around the corner, Rebecca, even after you done told this nigga no 25 times, and he keep following you, then what do you gotta do? You might have to cap that nigga, shoot him in the kneecap or something. Why? Because you in fear for your life. It's a whole lot of creeps out here. He could have been a creep. I don't know. She married him. That's not my situation. Uh, I don't know why they had a child together. It's not my
Hmm.
to know. I'm not on the inside circle. But to me, if you have problems like this, why would you bring a child into the world? Or maybe it was good sometimes and it was bad sometimes and it was good sometimes, and maybe she thought he was gonna change. I don't know. I'm not in that situation. I can't say. I just wish she was still alive, man. I just wish somebody would have got it, dude, because there's no reason for her and her 2 children to die. That is sad.
Yeah.
Your daughter got to grow up like Bruce Wayne. You ain't got no parents. Both your parents dead. You ain't got no siblings. You're probably being raised by your grandparents or
Hmm.
auntie, and you got to live your whole life knowing that I had a family that's now gone, that I didn't even get a chance to know, because she's a child. She won. She don't remember all the stuff that be happening.
And it's sad because she has to hear about her parents and her siblings through the eyes of everybody else. She don't even have a memory of these people.
No.
That's a hard. I can't imagine carrying, like, for me as an adult. My dad died when I was 4.
Right.
He didn't die tragically like this. However, as an adult, that's still a hard weight to carry, because I have to try to get information about this person through the
Right.
eyes and perception of everybody else.
Right.
And some people's perceptions is distorted depending upon how they felt about the individual. And that's only if you can get information. I just recently found out this, end of last year, what my dad actually liked. And I say that to say I can't imagine what type of weight that this is going to carry for this child, because she has nobody that she can look at and say, this is where I get this from, this is where I get that from, so on and so forth. Like, to be able to see it, it's going to all be fed information from other people. And I hope that they try to protect the child in a sense from all the negative connotations that's going to come behind it. I can't imagine being this girl and her thinking like what everybody's saying about this man and the information she may find about her dad, and wonder, is something wrong with me too? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking of all the possibilities that could happen. That's a weight to carry, man. That's sad.
Horrible, man. Rest in peace to Rosie. Rest in peace to your son, and rest in peace to your daughter. Definitely tragic. I mean,
Yeah.
could have been avoided. That's the fucked up part about it. That's the crux of the whole situation.
100% could have
Been avoided.
been avoided.
Regardless of what she did.
Yeah.
You love that man. You married him. You know, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever it may be, even if it was at the end of her days, she realized that I got to get away from this dude. You did what you were supposed to do, filed all the necessary paperwork, and in the end, the system failed you. There's no reason for her and her children to be deceased. There's no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish more people took their safety seriously. I don't think she was a gun owner. I could be wrong. Never seen her post any pro gun type stuff or defense or anything like that. But this is why I feel it's so important for people to carry firearms, carry you a knife, some pepper spray, the little
Something.
claws, the little rape claws that be on your keychain or whatever. They kind of that's knuckles. But if somebody was to rape you or whatever, it's like little Wolverine claws that pop out. You can scratch nigga, like, get off me, nigga, and try to get to safety. I don't care what it is. I urge you, man, woman, if you are able to take up arms, please take up arms. Learn from Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells, and I love this quote. It's probably one of my most favorite quotes of all time. Ida B. Wells famously said that a Winchester rifle deserves a place of honor in every Black home to provide protection from which the law refuses to give.
Yep.
She said that like the late 1800s. That was then.
Yep.
That was Reconstruction and right after slavery and shit. That was then.
And it's definitely still prevalent today.
Still.
That's why you have a lot of parents teaching their kids about, like, a lot of Black parents teaching their children about gun and gun safety, things of that nature. And it's a lot of people that is against it. I'm not necessarily against it. Depending on the type of child you have, yeah.
I don't care what type of child you have. Child's a product of its environment. Now, granted, you can't do everything for your child, but a lot of times these crazy ass white people that be shooting up movie theaters, their parents enabled that behavior and they didn't do shit about it. But strictly talking protection, hell yeah, teach your kids gun safety. You know, teach them how to break down a gun, put it back together, be able to clean it, know the right ammo. You know, I tell anybody, if you've never owned a gun before, I suggest you take a gun safety class. Go to your local.
Yeah, you should.
Get familiar with what the do's and don'ts to be.
Yeah,
Those are do's and don'ts because I worked a security guard job. And if I discharged my weapon without taking the proper steps, not only could I be fired from the job, I can also be thrown in jail for manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I am fully aware of all of the implications of having to use your weapon. But in that moment, when he broke into the house, if she had a boom, 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 it would have been justified. Because not only did she go to the police, she had a restraining order. She had a,
Yep.
I know she wasn't doing no illegal stuff. So if she did have a firearm, it would be legal. That situation would not have happened because the first time that nigga try to break in the door, or maybe you huddled up in the room with your kids under the bed somewhere in the closet, whatever it is, when that nigga breaks into your location, the bedroom, the basement, whatever, the kitchen, that nigga come around that corner and you shoot his ass, you're justified. And let's be clear, black people have been taught not to own firearms. Not
Mm-hmm.
white people teach their kids about firearms when they be 4 or 5 years old. Be taking
Take them hunting and all type of stuff.
that's a
Uh-huh.
rite of passage. Oh, little Susie has just killed her first buck. How do you feel, little Susie? I you know,
Yep.
I calculated the wind and and
Yeah.
that we were downwind from this buck, and I think I did a good job for my first time, and then white people, a lot of white people be on that real like sadistic shit, like, oh, little Susie's now gonna cut out the heart and eat it as part of a ritual. You be like, yeah. What they do, they'll teach their kids how to hunt, go skin that deer, just make some deer jerky,
Mm-hmm.
deer ribs out of that motherfucker. White people don't teach their kids how to use guns. Black people don't
Yeah.
necessarily teach their kids how to use guns unless you in the streets. You got that one uncle, that cousin. Hey, come here, little cuz. Come on, man. Let me show you how to use this little motherfucker right here. Point, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I told my family when we had this discussion, Thanksgiving a year or two ago, I said the only reason why we fear having firearms is because we live in metropolitan areas. We feel that we live in a society where the police, the fire department, and the EMS is just on speed dial and they are one call away, so you feel safe. But here's where that goes wrong. Yes, you can call the EMS. 5 minutes at the earliest. Knowing you a nigga in the city, it could take for never. They could never come.
Mm-hmm.
And living in the city, they could never come. And you have to be able to protect yourself between the time this motherfucker breaks into your house to the time uh the police get there.